Hello everyone and welcome once again to Brandao Collection. Today we're going to be taking a look at our top 10 autographs that we added into our collection in the year of 2023. So stick around and we'll take a look right after the jump. All right, so 2023 was a really exciting year when it came to collecting autographs and really continuing to grow our autograph collection in many different directions, whether that be Star Wars pieces, pieces from the MCU, and many other types of facets and interests that I've had since I was a kid and really got into the world of movies and television and so forth. So I thought it would be exciting to take some time and go through our personal top 10 of the pieces that I got in my collection this year, 2023. There were so many pieces that we added to the collection this year that it was really hard to just bring it down to 10 pieces. We did kind of cheat a little bit, and we have 2 honorable mentions. So overall, we have 12 pieces that we're going to be talking about in today's video. But before we jump into things and take a look at those pieces and talk about them in detail, if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell notification to be notified when we post new videos. We have some more exciting things coming in the very near future, especially as we jump into 2024, including to expand our Brandao Collection podcast into more exciting ways. So let's take a look, and we'll jump first into those honorable mentions and then go into our top 10 for the year. As mentioned, we have 2 honorable mentions just because it was so difficult to really take everything that we added to the collection this year and just bring it down to just 10. But I wanted to throw a couple out here to start off with. The first one that I'm going to take a look at, which is number 12 on my list, is this piece that I actually just got recently. It was signed at New York Comic Con this year, and this is another signed piece from Ewan McGregor, specifically from the movie Big Fish, the Tim Burton film, which is personally one of my all-time favorite movies, and really in the top tier of Tim Burton movies, and Tim Burton being one of the film directors that got me into the world of movies, movie making, and just I love his early work. And Big Fish is something a little bit later on, but it is one of my favorite of his films, so I wanted to have that representation when Ewan McGregor was signing again. Now, moving on to number 11 on the list, this is somebody who I have a couple different pieces in the collection, of a lot of different ones across things, but this is one that we got early in the year from when the signings had happened. I believe it was end of 22 into 23, but we received it in 2023, and that is this 11 by 14 signed by Brendan Wayne. It's a shot specifically from the Book of Boba Fett, when the Mando finally gets his Naboo starfighter. He gets it all upgraded, and it's got that chrome finish now, and he parks it right there to go visit Cobb Vanth. I love this shot, and I got him right there in a nice black pen on this 11 by 14 shot. So just wanted to talk about these honorable mentions first, and then now we're actually going to go and we're going to jump over into our top 10 for 2023. So starting at number 10, something that's a little bit different and compared to all the other pieces we're going to be talking about in today's video, and that is starting with some people who are important to the world of the behind the scenes of movie making, specifically the original trilogy of Star Wars. And here we have this Imperial Walker shot that is signed by a couple of the really important people behind the scenes of the original trilogy, which includes Phil Tippett, Joe Johnston, and Doug Beswick. Now, the Doug Beswick autograph I did get on this 8x10 back in 22-21, but I held on to it waiting for some other signers that were important to the Imperial Walkers, and SWAU had the signing with Phil Tippett and Joe Johnston that happened at the end of 22, and then this piece arrived in our collection at the beginning of 2023. So now we have these 3 signers. There are, of course, many other ILM people who are still with us, some unfortunately that are no longer with us, that could possibly sign this in the future, so I'll hold on to it if those opportunities arise, but I love the way that this looks as it stands right now with these 3 signers. Moving into number 9. Number 9 is from one of my favorite TV shows of 2022, which was House of the Dragon, and we have a shot signed by Matt Smith here, who played Daemon Targaryen in the show. He's also one of my favorite doctors from Doctor Who, and of course we know him from The Crown and many other things. Morbius is another thing as well, but I love this shot. It's another 11 by 14, and the reason why I love this one is because I love Matt Smith's signature. Is very kind of classy is the best way to really say it, but this is the scene from the show, if you've watched season 1 of the show before, where someone's speaking at a line, and he decides to take into his own hands some justice for that person speaking out of line, and I was able to get the quote there of "he can keep his tongue," which I really, really love how nice and clear his penmanship is here to really hone in a nice clear shot with that signature, with that quote, with the character name on there, just making it all around one of my favorite pieces from this year. Now, another thing, and this will come up a couple other times as we go through some other pieces here, for number 8 is actually a piece I got from the SWAU auction. So in 2023, SWAU started doing an auction where people could consign their items to be sold through this auction, and then people could get all different range of autographs. So other than just actors who are doing current pre-ordered signings, it's also people that maybe there's actors that are no longer with us. Pieces that were signed many years ago from movies that or TV that we all love. And that happens to come into place here with number 8, one of my all-time favorite movies, which is Alien, the original, the first one. And we have a shot signed here by John Hurt from the famous chestburster scene. So you couldn't think of a better scene to have signed by him. Unfortunately, John Hurt is no longer with us, one of my favorite actors, whether it be Alien or Harry Potter or another Doctor Who person, Elephant Man. You can go down the list of all these different movies and television stuff that he's done, but I'm happy to have an autograph of him in my collection from one of the most famous scenes in all of cinema history, along with one of my favorite all-time movies that now I have this in the collection based on winning it there in that auction earlier this year. Now, if you've watched our channel for a while now, you know that a lot of our pieces come from SWAU signings, and that's just because they get a lot of really great signers, and especially they get a lot of signers that have never signed before and maybe doing once-in-a-lifetime signings where they sign one time and then that's it forever. And now we have pieces that are in the market. We have pieces that people may have always dreamed about that they can get completed. And this is one of those situations where for number 7, we have another big signer, which is Keira Knightley. Now, of course, they had Natalie Portman back in 2020, but now we have Keira Knightley to kind of round things out. I picked up a couple different pieces, but the one I wanted to pinpoint is once again another 11 by 14, which is a shot from her from the 3rd Pirates of the Caribbean film. Now, a lot of people did get shots of her from episode 1 as the handmaiden, as the kind of the decoy for Padme. Even though I'm a big Star Wars fan, I'm a bigger Pirates fan when it comes to Keira Knightley. So her as an actress, those first 3 Pirates movies are very important to me, and I've mentioned that in a previous video as well, so I wanted to get these, and I love this shot of her from the 3rd movie from At World's End, and you have her character name there as Elizabeth Swann, so really had to pinpoint as this the favorite of the pieces that I got from that particular signing. As I mentioned, when we talked about the John Hurt piece back at number 8, we have the SWAU auction that is continuously going each month. And I'm going to cheat a little bit with this one here at number 6, and I'm actually going to put 2 autographed pieces together because I didn't want to split them up. Even though they are 2 separate people, I didn't want to split these up because they came from the same auction, and also they come from the same movie. So we have here one of my favorite horror movies, or thrillers, however you want to call it, my personal favorite of all the Hitchcock movies, which is Psycho, and we have these 2 pieces here signed by Janet Leigh and by Vera Miles. So the 2 sisters of the original Psycho from 1960 by Alfred Hitchcock. I love these pieces. This is something that these older movies, these more classic movies, I want to start really dipping my toe into collecting more of those types of autographs as time goes along. Because, of course, we can get lots of pieces of our favorite actors and actresses from the current state of the entertainment world. But as more time goes by, we're losing a lot of these classic actors, or maybe we've already have. So it gets harder and harder to find these pieces in a reasonable type of situation, and I thought we did a good job kind of finding them in a reasonable price through the auction when I purchased these 2. So I'm happy to have these in the collection. All right, so we've talked about numbers 12 all the way through number 6 of our top 10 list, with those honorable mentions adding out the area there. But now we're actually going into the top 5 territory of our autograph pieces of 2023. If you've made it this far into the video and you haven't done so already, why haven't you? We have exciting things, as I've mentioned, so click that like button, click that subscribe button, click that bell notification so you know every time we post new videos, whether it be topics talking about autographs, 1/6 scale figures, comic books, and many other things, and anything related to pop culture collectibles. So let's jump directly into the top 5 of our list. Starting with number 5, this is somebody that I've wanted in my autograph collection for as long as I've been collecting autographs. And I've been collecting autographs this year, roughly about 20 years. So about 20 years. At the case in 2003, 2004, started collecting stuff, going to shows with my family. So this is someone who's a highly big influence on me in the world of movie making. When I was a kid, I first started with making stop-motion animation films because of my love of The Nightmare Before Christmas, which then brought me into the world of where stop-motion came from, Willis O'Brien, which then, of course, leads to our person we're talking about today, which is Ray Harryhausen. Jason and the Argonauts, one of my all-time favorite movies, because of the stop-motion work that's in that film. It's a film I used to watch all the time as a kid that was introduced to me by my grandparents. We would watch it whenever it was on one of those classic movie channels, and then, of course, then I had a DVD that I would watch all the time, just really trying to figure out how that movie magic was done. And here we have a shot signed by Ray Harryhausen from his classic films here, and this is just a piece, once again, came from the Swayu auction. Another person that's been long gone in the world, and now I can have this in the collection, and it is a centerpiece. It is in a safe place. It's not presented anywhere yet, but it is going to be a centerpiece part of my autograph collection. Moving on to number 4 and dipping our toe into the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we have a piece that we actually started about a year or 2 ago with a Swayu signing with Chris Hemsworth. And then in 2023, at the beginning of 2023, we finally had this 11x14 completed by Mark Ruffalo. So now you have this shot from Thor Ragnarok of Thor versus the Hulk in the Gladiator Arena. And I love this shot. So when I ordered it from Chris Hemsworth from their signing about a year or 2 ago, I had just been saying, I'm just going to wait for Mark Ruffalo. He's going to sign again at some point. He had signed prior to COVID, so I was thinking at some point he was going to come out and start doing conventions again, and of course he did. So he did come out at the beginning of this year, and now I have this piece completed, and I love the way it looks. Another one of those 11x14s that we have nice and big. Now, we are in the top 3 pieces of 2023, and starting with number 3, this is one of my favorite celebrity interactions I had at a convention this year. I didn't actually go to many conventions this year due to a lot of kind of changes in my personal life, for a lot of it for the best, but just not being able to go as many as I used to in the past. But I was able to go to Fan Expo Philadelphia earlier at the beginning of this summer, and one of the main reasons I went to that event was for Hayden Christensen. And I did bring some photos that I printed out my own, and I brought this 11x14 shot of him from the end of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show, that kind of broken up mask of Darth Vader, and I was able to get him to put his name there, of course, add that quote about "you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did." And the great thing is that I paid for the quote, I paid for his name, of course. I did not pay for the character name, but he was so nice. He made sure to have a great interaction with everybody that came through his line, and he added that Darth Vader character name for free, because I guess he thought, well, I'm already putting the quote, I'm already putting my own name on there, I might as well complete it, which, fantastic. I love the way this looks on this photo, and once again, a great interaction I had with him. So not only did I get this shot signed, I got some other stuff signed, but I did do a photo op with him as well. I don't ever do photo ops at conventions. It's very rare. I did one at Celebration with Ewan McGregor with my wife. I did one, of course, with Hayden Christensen at Fan Expo this year, just so I have Obi-Wan and Anakin together, but it's really great to have this, and I really love that interaction I had with him at the event. Moving on to number 2 on our list, and this is another person that is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, somebody that I actually only had one signed piece from prior to this year, and then once he decided to show up at C2E2 at the beginning of 2023, I ordered a bunch of pieces from this actor just because he's one of my favorite Marvel characters in general, not just within the MCU, and that is Chris Evans, or Captain America. I've ordered a bunch of different pieces from this signing, but I wanted to pinpoint the one that I enjoyed and the one I love the most from the signing, which is another 11x14 shot here of Captain America from the end of Avengers Endgame, when he finally says "Avengers Assemble." So I got that quote there with his name on this nice, clear, amazing 11x14 shot. I love how this looks. The picture, the scan I have doesn't do justice. I don't have a scanner big enough for 11x14s as of right now, so I just had to take a nice, clear photo. But I love how this came out, and it really stands out, especially out of all the different pieces that I was able to get from this specific signing that he was able to attend. And that brings us to our number 1 favorite autograph piece that we received throughout the entire year of 2023. As I mentioned at the beginning of our video, it was extremely hard to really bring it down to the 12 that I've shared with you here, just because we received, I think, the most pieces this year than any other year in our autograph collecting world, between going to events, between participating in different private signings through different companies that offer those. This was an amazing year of different acquisitions, and I really had to kind of pinpoint it, which made it difficult, but I always knew what number 1 was going to be, and that is going to be this piece signed by Scarlett Johansson. Now, it is not the most amazing piece signed by Scarlett Johansson, but I really enjoy this shot. I think this shot is fantastic, and her signature, it's not a bright pen, but it is clear, and it is a nice way. It's a really kind of awkward in person. It's an awkward size, but it looks fantastic, and I'm really happy to have this in the collection, especially since I'm a big fan of Scarlett Johansson. So this was a piece that I was looking for. This is one of those shots that I've been looking for, and one of my good friends in the autograph community actually gave me a heads up that this shot was going to become available from a seller. And as soon as it went up for sale officially, I reached out to that seller and I said, can we work something out? I worked it out, and now this piece is officially in my collection. I got this earlier this year, so I always knew this was going to be the #1 out of everything that I receive this year. This was always going to be my #1 just for personal reasons. So that is all 12 pieces. I know we talked about 10, but that was all 12 pieces that I wanted to speak about in today's video. A lot of exciting things. Like I mentioned, there's so many pieces that I left out that we received this year that was just impossible to really talk about everything. But, you know, of course, with all the different types of content and video that we create here on our channel, of course, a lot of these things that we got into the collection will make its way into our videos, into our discussions that we have, whether it be here through these kind of shorter videos per se, or maybe in our longer discussions on our podcast. Now, once again, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like it, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell notification to be notified when we post new videos. If you enjoyed this video as well, please share it with anyone who you think might be interested in learning more about the world of autograph collecting, 1/6 scale figures, comic book collecting, just pop culture collecting in general. Send them our way. We love to have more people in the community continue the conversation and go from there. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep on collecting.